Yo, what's up guys? I went to a brand new video on PrizePicks. I got plays for you today for NBA Tuesday. And as you guys know, we've been very good about our plays recently. I'll show you guys the spreadsheet and everything. It's all tracked on this channel. Unlike some other channels, they do be lying to you. But anyways, go ahead, drop a like on this video. Do me a favor. And now let's move into the winnable. This is where I post free plays every single day. And you guys can get access to this. Just hit the link in the description, or hit the link that's posted up there at the top of the screen, winnable.com/bam, and you will be hopping over to the free plan right here. It's where I drop free plays. And if we can talk about how the VIP has been doing recently, I'll show you guys. What did the VIP do on Monday? I told you I'll take Spurs money line. I'm still confident. I put 3 units on that, cashed. Thunder minus 7.5 was our only loss of the day. The Thunder, we needed them to win by 8 or more. They won by exactly 7 points. Absolute heartbreaker. We almost had the sweep. But then Blazers, Lakers on the over, easy cash. And then Nuggets money line, I told you to put 4 units on it. And that also smacked. So a bunch of green in NBA Monday. And I'm dropping the Tuesday ticket very soon, as well as a free play for you guys as well. So sign up, winnable.com/bam. Like I said before, you can hop on the free plan. And then once you guys make some money, hop on the VIP plan too. Anyways, let's move into the first play of the day. It's going to be the taco right now. I was trying to get this video out a lot earlier, but the technology has been weird. Go ahead and take whatever taco it is. Right now, for me, it's Giannis. It probably won't be that for you by the time you're watching this video. But let's talk about the first play of the day, because we're going over to the Charlotte Hornets game. As some of you guys know, I am a Hornets fan, but that is not any bias on this pick. LaMelo Ball has just been playing out of his mind recently, as well as the entire Charlotte Hornets team. He had a triple-double last game. LaMelo Ball had a triple-double. This is a guy who occasionally gets to 10 assists, but never really rebounds all that well, right? If we look at how LaMelo Ball did just last game, this was a huge game for them. They've only been in great games, honestly. I've been treated to a lot of these games as a Hornets fan. This was a close game. Oh, actually, this was not close, but this was a great game from the Hornets perspective. This was a very close game. This was also a close game until we pulled away late. But in this one, LaMelo Ball had 38 points, 13 rebounds, 13 assists. So he did not just sneak over that double-double, or triple-double, mark. He commanded it. 26 RA in this game, rebounds and assists. And I like him to get 15 in this one. All we need, right? LaMelo can easily pick up 8 assists or 9 assists on a good day, right? And then we need him to get 5 or 6 rebounds, right? That's very, very doable for a player like him. And I think that's just going to happen in this game. Honestly, against the Miami Heat, this is a very solid spot for him. But let's move into the next play of the day. We're going over to the rebounds. And I mean, people are going to get tired of me taking the exact same play again and again, because this is how it is in basketball. Sometimes the players play so often, right? Sometimes back-to-back, sometimes with just one day break. It feels like I'm taking the same play every time, even though it is different plays. But there's no reason for me to not. Giannis at 11.5 rebounds is atrocious, right? Why is the line this low? He's averaging 16 rebounds on the season. His lowest game, his worst game so far has been 14 rebound performance, right? And the only team they lost to was the Cavaliers by 5 points, where Giannis put, let me read this again. Giannis put up 14 rebounds in that game, 22 rebound chances, with 5 of them being offensive rebounds, and 40 points as well, not to mention the points. But his points line is pretty high at 30.5. I'm not saying he can't hit this. I'm just saying it will be a lot more difficult for him to hit that points line than hitting this rebounds line. 11.5, easy pickings for a guy like Giannis. And let's see who's the other side, right? Who's on the other side that's projected a lot of rebounds? Karl Anthony Towns is projected 11.5. I do not have any faith in Cat. He's also looking a little banged up for this game, probably going to play. I don't have any faith in Cat against a player like Giannis. Giannis is just the most dominant player out there. Josh Hart's probably going to snag a few away from Giannis too. But then OG, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, like there's not really a huge challenge for Giannis in this game. It's not like they have several bigs that might actually take away from Giannis's production. Speaking of several bigs, he just played the Cavaliers, who literally run the best double big lineup in all of basketball. And he still hit with 14 rebounds. So I don't even know why I'm talking about that. Giannis is dominant. Take him on the over for rebounds. Now, let's move into play number 2, because we're going over to points plus assists. This is one that I had picked out. And I want to go all the way to the late night game. And I want to target my man on the Clippers. Or no, on the Warriors. I was scrolling past him. There he is. Jonathan Kaminga. So, the stat sheet does not look good for Kaminga, right? 19.5 PA. I like him a lot here, though, right? You can take him on PRA too. You can take him on points straight, whatever you want to do. Basically, what's happening now is Kaminga over the summer there was a lot of talk around him, right? Maybe he's not going to play for the Warriors. The Warriors are not the great fit for him, right? He's taking too many shots. He's not really meshing well into Steve Kerr's system, Steph Curry's really system, right? And the Warriors, you got to play around Steph Curry. If you want to play for the Warriors, want to wear the Warriors shirt, you've got to know how to play around Steph, right? And Kaminga just wasn't doing that for the last year, right? So that's why he got benched in the playoffs. That's why there was a lot of animosity between him and the team. Over the offseason, signed his contract now, he is ready to play, right? And he has been on fire. He's probably been one of the sneaky most improved players because a lot of people already think of him as very solid, or at least has a lot of potential. What it seemed to me, at least in these last few games, is that he's actually actualized that potential, right? He's now turning what was just, oh, this guy could be good, into actually, this guy's making the consistent right decision on the court every time he's out there, right? And that's exactly what we saw in this game with the Grizzlies, right? He went 9 for 14 shooting, and he missed both of his 3-pointers, but he's only taken 2 threes, right? He's not really trying to huck up them in threes. 4 threes. This time he took 6 threes, and he made 4 of those, right? But either way, he's not really that kind of guy, right? He's finding the gaps in the defenses, and he's profiting off of the insane off-ball system that the Warriors have. If you just watch any Warriors basketball, right, you will notice that they move off-ball, or at least they introduced it. They still now move off-ball more than almost any other team in the NBA, right? A, that's because they have Steph Curry. But B, it's because of all the other players around them know that if we get Steph Curry the ball with a foot of space, we've won, right? And that's exactly what the defense is thinking, right? The defense is closing down on them. So if you're a guy like Jonathan Kaminga last year and you're just kind of sitting in the low post trying to get yourself a ball, turn around, take a tough shot, that's not going to work, right? He has changed his attitude. He's changed the way that he plays. So he's now doing more backdoor cuts, more clever screens, and really just slipping away from the defense when they're all eyes are on Curry, right? And Curry's obviously playing in this game. His line is at 30.5. And you got Jimmy Buckets too. There's a lot for the defense to be focused on. And Kaminga, I feel like, is going to profit off of that. So I like him on points and assists because, like I said, the Warriors swing the ball around a lot. I think he could get into a lot of valuable actions. And when I think a player is going to get in a lot of valuable actions, I like to take them not just on points, but on points plus assists. Because a lot of times, you're there, just one man to beat, you're going to lob it up to the big, right? You're there, you see a guy coming backdoor, you're going to pass it to him, right? So you're getting an assist there, even though you're very involved in the play. Rebounds are a little bit of a different game, right? So PA, I like Jonathan Kaminga to get 20 in this game. But that's the second play of the day. Let's see if we got a new taco coming up. I just wanted to check it out. I don't think we do just yet, but it's okay because we've got a lot more to get through. We're going over to just straight points now, and we're going to go ahead and target I don't know why this game is tipping off at 11 p.m. If you're on the Eastern time like me, I'd probably stay away from that game because it's going to take forever to go ahead and wrap up. But we're targeting the early game now, 76ers versus Wizards. And I mean, you guys probably already know the name if you've been locked in at all to basketball. VJ Edgecombe is the name. 34 points against Boston. I think it was third highest or tied for third highest ever in an NBA debut, right? He played lights out against the Celtics. And the best part is he was playing confidently, right? It wasn't like he just went on a streak and made a bunch of threes. He went 5 of 13 from 3. He went 13 of 26 from the field, shooting exactly 50%. This is the kind of game that you really like to see from somebody who's trying to be a superstar, right? He doesn't at all hesitate about taking shots, right? And then against the Hornets, he only took 15 shots in this one, right? 26 shots, then he took 15 shots, and then he obviously didn't hit this one. But then he kind of stepped it back up, right? 17 shots now. He made 4 free throws, so he's really getting to the line. He made half of his 3-pointers, and this was against the Orlando Magic, who a lot of people call one of the better defenses in basketball. Honestly, I think they're sneakily not that great a defense this year. At least they haven't figured it out yet. A lot of people think the Magic are a good defense because they've been a good defense for the last few years. That's been their identity. Honestly, they seem very easy to score on. I'm just going to say that straight up. It's kind of a crazy take to say the Magic have a bad defense, but they're not as good as everybody thinks they are. Just because the name Orlando Magic defense has a lot of weight to it, a lot of people think, oh, they got to be a good defense. They just sound like a good defense because that's what we've been accustomed to hearing, right? Kind of like I was talking about with the Chiefs' run defense last night. Anyways, I'm getting well off topic. The Wizards are terrible, right? That was my main point here. The Wizards are absolutely garbage. They have allowed similar players. We're not just looking at the bigs, or we're really isolating it down to the position, right? So we're not going to compare VJ Edgecombe's performance to another big who played the Wizards, right? We're going to compare him to another guard who played the Wizards. Someone like a LaMelo Ball, a Colin Sexton, a Gary Trent Jr., right? And in these games, Gary Trent's line was 11.5. He popped for 17. Sexton's line was 17.5. He's coming off the bench, mind you. He still got 20 points. And LaMelo Ball obviously starting. he was projected to get 25 points. He popped for 38 against the Washington Wizards, right? So the Wizards, not that great of a defense, and VJ Edgecombe is probably going to cut them up in this one. And the best part is, I like that Embiid is playing. A lot of people don't like that Embiid is playing because he's not scoring all that much, right? As you guys can see, he had 20 points against the Hornets, but a lot of that, if you watch that game, you know those 20 points were not really all that, right? They wasn't really scaring us. He had 4 points against the Boston Celtics. He shot the ball, where is that? He shot the ball 9 times, went 1 of 9, right? But what I really like about Embiid playing for this team is the space that it opens up for Maxey and Edgecombe. And a lot of times we talk about spacing as in someone who is sitting out there in the corner or really just moving around the perimeter, and they're going to space out the defense because of their 3-point threat, right? Embiid is completely different. He doesn't really shoot threes very well, as we know, but he spaces out the defense with just his pure gravity. Imagine like Steph Curry, right? The defense is always looking at Steph Curry. His gravity takes quite a few players with him, right? Embiid is kind of like that for the inside, right? When Embiid is playing very well and you just give him a one-on-one matchup in space, he's going to do well, right? He's going to score, right? So that's exactly what Embiid does, is he drags defenders a little bit closer to the paint, closer than they want to be, and then Maxey and Edgecombe can absolutely pop off. And that's what we've been seeing, right? Maxey has been on fire. 40 points, 28 points, and then 43 points against the good defense of the Orlando Magic, right? So, anyways, I'm getting a little sidetracked. My play is Edgecombe. I wouldn't mind you taking Maxey either. I wouldn't mind that at all. Let me see if I can turn this off. Okay, now let's move into the next one because we're going over to the rebounds one more time. We are staying far away from this game. We're staying far away from that team. Excuse me. We're staying in this game. Alex Sarr. I'm not going to try to say that name. Alex Sarr, Alexandra Sarr. We call him Sarr, right? Alex Sarr in this one. He played a lights out first half against the Hornets. And then he just kind of disappeared, honestly. But he had 16 rebound chances, which means he's really getting in the right opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities for him to get. He only had 4 rebounds. This time he had 17 rebound chances and he had 9 rebounds, right? So it's all about seeing the potential rebounds versus the actuality of the rebounds, right? He is getting a lot of rebound chances. 18, 17, 16 rebound chances. His line being at 6.5 is way too low. We need him to get 7 rebounds in this game. That could happen in the first 3 quarters. I don't want to say the first half. In the first 3 quarters, he could get that, right? And the guy who he's going up against for rebounds is Embiid, who's projected 6 rebounds. Edgecombe is projected 5 rebounds. Like, it's not at all like the 76ers are the best rebounding team out there, right? There's quite a few rebounds that could be left on the board for Alex Sarr to come pick them up. Now, if you want to take Alex Sarr on the points, I would not hate that as well because he looked insane against Charlotte Hornets. Like I just said, he made 9 out of 15 field goals. That's probably not sustainable to make that many. And he also made a 3 in this game. So I would not at all hate it if you take him on points and rebounds. This looks like a solid play. He's hitting every single game. But me personally, I'm just going to target the low line. I think the value is where his rebounds are. 6.5 is too low. And I think it's dropped precisely because of this dud game against a team that really he shouldn't be struggling that much against in the Charlotte Hornets. But we're sticking with rebounds now, and we're going over to Damontis Sabonis. I've missed this, man. He's an absolute lock on the rebounds. I mean, like, let's just look at this. I mean, just look at these stats, guys. This is him from last year. He hit it in 60% of games, 18 of 30 games that we got pulled up here. Let me see if I can pull up as many as I can. Okay, 59% of games. Like, literally, he's just so consistent, right? And if you can take a play that's 59% time is going to hit, that's a very solid play. He's averaging 13.9 rebounds last season. I don't want to go 2 seasons ago, but if you want to go 2 seasons ago, you can. He's averaging 13.6 rebounds then, right? So basically, in his career, he's been on fire, right? He's averaging a ridiculous amount of rebounds. Let's see what he's at. Can I pull up his whole career stats? 13.7. So basically, what we expected for the last few years. And now he got 14 rebounds against the Lakers, 29 rebound chances against the Jazz, only 12 rebounds. 25 rebound chances against the Lakers, and he barely squeaks over this line. We need him to get, I would say, around 20 rebound chances, 25 rebound chances, maybe, for him to get over this line at exactly 13 rebounds or higher. That's a very solid play, right? So Damontis Sabonis, let's just recap real quick. We got Damontis Sabonis. We got, okay, there goes all my plays. We got LaMelo Ball. We got VJ Edgecombe. We got Alex Sarr. We got, there's definitely one that I'm missing. Jonathan Kaminga. So yeah, those are all my plays for NBA Tuesday. Let's have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the free group, winnable.com/bam. I'll see you in there. What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new video on PrizePicks. Today we got plays for NBA Wednesday, and I've got 5 different plays in this video. We're gonna get through all that, but first up, do me a solid, drop a like on this video, and now let's move into the recap from the day before. So if you guys do not know, I drop bonus free plays, not just what I drop on this video, but an extra free play every single day on my free group. It is the Winnable, right up there, winnable.com/bam. You guys should all be locked in there already. Once you guys sign up over here on the free plan, you get access to my free plays. And what happened was I dropped a Tuesday free pick, which was in the MLB World Series, Blue Jays, Dodgers over 7.5 runs. What ended up happening? We cashed that play, and I dropped a VIP discount. So a lot of people are getting in the VIP for a heavily discounted price tonight only, and I did limit those slots to just 10 slots. So it's already filling up. I think there's still around 5 slots left. So if you're watching this video, you still got a solid chance of getting in there. And as you guys can see, by the way, I didn't pull up the final game result. We ended up cashing the play 6-2 over the 7.5. Very, very solid. Now, let's move in, and the good thing about MLB is we are not done, right? There's still 3 more games now. It's 2-2 in the series. And I think this one's going all the way to game 7. I'm just going to say that straight up. I think this one's going to game 7. Yamamoto's going to play tomorrow. Probably, or not tomorrow. He's going to play in game 6. Snell's obviously going to play tomorrow. I don't think they lose the game when he starts pitcher. And then that's going to obviously be 6 or 7. But if they play him on the 6th, it should be what they do. Then game 7 in Toronto on Saturday. That would be absolutely nuts, guys. So make sure you guys are in the VIP. I'm dropping extra plays there, and also just the free group. I'm just getting super hyped about baseball. I don't know if you guys like baseball. You probably clicked on this for basketball. Don't worry, we're getting into a ton of basketball real soon. But what I wanted to say is I want to recap the VIP. The VIP is up 46 units since October. If you guys remember, I mean, what else is there to say, guys? I mean, like, literally 46 units in a single month is absolutely nuts. We're coming towards the end of October now. It's 28th as I'm recording this video. And that's absolutely huge. Like, you're not going to see a lot of other players, a lot of other creators profiting this much and tracking their plays, right? Everything here is tracked. Literally every single thing. I didn't even add the free play. This was MLB 7.5. I'll green that out later and type it in properly. But we cashed that play too, right? We cashed that play too. Now, if you guys want to get VIP for completely free, so not heavily discounted like I was talking about earlier, if you want to get it for just completely free, it's real simple. Text me the word VIP to this number right here. This is my personal phone number. I got a couple phones. I use one only for texting you guys back, and this is literally the phone number that I will text you guys back on. Right up here, text me the word VIP, and I'll get you on a free week of VIP. I'm going to help you sign up for one of these apps, and then we'll be good to go. It is very simple. It'll take you less than 5 minutes. Text me the word VIP to this number, and I'll see you guys in there. Now, let's move into the first play of the day. Donovan Mitchell, right? So Donovan Mitchell is playing up against the Boston Celtics in this game. The Boston Celtics look terrible, right? I don't hate Donovan Mitchell at all, and I wouldn't bet against him. That's really what I'm trying to say in this play. 31, 35, 24, and then 35, right? So he's averaging 31 points a game. Now his line is at 28.5. So I like Donovan Mitchell on points. On assists, this is going to sound crazy because he has not hit this once this season. I love Donovan Mitchell on assists. I might look like the biggest idiot, right? Nobody's taking this line, but he is sitting at, okay, well, I wouldn't take him here. I wouldn't take him at 5.5. I would take him at 4.5. Where can you get him at 4.5? Here. That's what I was looking at earlier. 5.5 is a little too high for me. But if you can get him at 4.5, I really like this line, right? So we said this in a couple games, but the reason is the Celtics, first of all, are just a terrible team, right? And it's weird to say because the Celtics are always a great team, but the Celtics are really bad, and they simply don't have anybody at the front court, anybody good, right? They just don't, right? They've got Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Anthony Simon. That's a very solid backcourt. But then when it comes to the front court, Hauser and Neemias Queta, like, really, there's not much there, right? So the Celtics are going to be very weak on the front court. And as we know, the Cavs have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, the best double big lineup in all of basketball, in my personal opinion, or at least the most practiced one. We'll see if other teams can replicate what they do in the coming months. But right now, they're the best double big lineup out there, right? So why does that mean that we're taking Donovan Mitchell on assists? Because he is the initiator of the offense, right? And if there is nobody up there in the front court to guard against Allen and Mobley, Donovan Mitchell is going to be the one diming him up. He just needs 5 assists in this game, right? So you might say, well, why don't you take Allen or Mobley over on points? And I don't hate that. That's a very good, solid system play that fits in line with the game script that we're looking at. But Allen and Mobley, unlike Donovan Mitchell, have been playing decent, which means their lines are actually kind of where they should be. Donovan Mitchell on assists has been playing pretty bad, right? He's been going down and down and down, which means you can get his line all the way at 4.5 if you take it on the right book, and then you can secure great value for this play. Now, let's move into play number 2. Austin Reeves, another guy who wouldn't bet against is the words that come to mind right now. Austin Reeves is getting a week to prove why he's worth a lot of money. That's literally what this week is for. Luka's out. LeBron is out. Anthony Davis has been out, right? Or he's been gone. This is Austin Reeves' time. He's always been behind one of those players. Behind AD, behind LeBron, behind Luka Doncic. Now that LeBron is out, we're starting the season. AD's gone. Luka's still here, right? Austin Reeves has always been that second guy, right? Now he's the first guy, and he is showing up. 51 points against the Sacramento Kings, 41 points against a very solid Blazers defense. Now he plays the Minnesota Timberwolves. He dropped 25 points on them last game. Let's see what happened in that Timberwolves game. Timberwolves played the Lakers not that long ago, right? Not that long ago. And I'm going to show you guys exactly the box score from that game. If we scroll up right here, what happened in that game? Oh, that's right. Luka Doncic dropped 49 points in a near triple-double, and Austin Reeves still managed to get 11 assists, 7 rebounds, and 25 points. 25 points when Luka was stealing 50 of them. Now he's playing the exact same team, exact same situation, and his line is up at 29.5. We need him to get 5 more points. Of those 49 points that Luka stole, we need 5 of those to go over to our boy Reeves, who's the number 1 player right now on the team, who has also scored 51 and 41 in consecutive games when he's the number 1 guy. This line makes no sense to me. Honestly, it's weird saying I love Austin Reeves on the over to score a 30-plus point game, but that's exactly what it is. This NBA season is nuts. The star players are going for ridiculous numbers, and Austin Reeves is a star player. This is his week for him to prove that he is that guy. He's deserving of money. He should be the number 1 guy on an NBA team. He's only been the number 2 or 3 guy because of circumstance, right? He deserves the respect. He's getting the chance to shine, and he is showing it, right? 51 points, 41 points, 30-plus points now against the Timberwolves. Count Austin Reeves for that. Now, next play is Lauri Markkanen, and you might expect me to say, I wouldn't bet against this guy because I like saying that. Honestly, I like saying that this season because of how the games have been going. I'm actually going to fade Lauri Markkanen here. I might look like the biggest idiot right now, but against this matchup in the Portland Trailblazers, let's look at how this goes, right? They are one of the best teams at defending play when it's up over here. This is exactly where Lauri Markkanen plays. Off screen, above the break 3. This is literally that exact zone, right? And the Portland Trailblazers defend that very, very well. Player, boom. This is exactly where Lauri Markkanen gets a lot of his shooting from, right? Of course, everybody's going to shoot 20-30% near the rim. And that's not percentage of field goals made. That's just percentage of, well, I guess, of all the field goals, where are your shots coming from, right? So if half of his shots basically are coming from back here, right? And unfortunately, that's exactly where the Portland Trailblazers are focusing their defense. They're locked down. They're not giving away any easy 3 balls. If they want to give away a 3 ball, it'll be a corner ball, right? If you can get out to the corner, we can maybe take a 3 there, but we are going to be locked down on these. And why is that? Well, it's because the Trailblazers have a ton of good defenders, right? Drew Holiday, Toumani Camara, Donovan Clingan in the middle, Jeremy Grant, Shaedon Sharpe is an athlete. Denny Avdia is very clever, right, when it comes to the defense. I just named so many names. Toumani Camara is definitely the biggest one. He's got the potential to be I don't want to say DPOI, but like, can we say like runner up to the DPOI? At this point, we've got to make a new award for that because Wemby's obviously winning DPOI. But if you exclude Wemby, Toumani Camara's got a great chance at winning DPOI one of these next few years because he's just that athletic. He's just that smart when it comes to the defensive end. If you just watch this man play, watched him a little bit last year, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, right? So I'm fading Lauri right here. He got 51 points, but he was beating up against a Suns team that was bad. And he also was in overtime. Did that game go to double overtime? I feel like it did. I'm going to double check that for you. I know it went to overtime. Might have gone to double overtime. Yeah, let's check this out. No, it didn't go to double overtime. It just went 1 overtime. So that's on me. 1 overtime. But he dropped 51 points in that, right? So obviously they played 5 quarters of basketball. Can't really count that, right? Now he's going up against the Trailblazers. This one, everybody's going to be taking Lauri. The line's been pushed up a little bit, right? It's a little bit inflated. Higher than it should be. I like Lauri on the under. So let's get into play number 4 because we're going to Steph Curry right here. Steph Curry. No, this is not where I was going. This was the play from yesterday. What's going on with my thing? I did not mean to go Steph Curry. Let me find the guy I'm trying to take. There he's at. Big Yoke. This is the guy we're going for. So Jokic, I mean, it's sometimes I feel bad about taking plays like this because it just seems way too easy. Jokic on assists at 9.5. Like, genuinely, what are we doing? Genuinely, what is this line? 9.5 assists against the Pelicans. Let me make sure I said that loud enough. Jokic, 9.5 assists against the Pelicans. What the heck? Jokic just hit this. 10 assists against the Warriors, 15 against the Suns, 10 assists against the Timberwolves. He's just very consistent. He gets triple doubles. He gets double-double. I mean, double-double is way too easy for Jokic, but he gets to his 10 assists line like that, right? Look at the rebounding, right? Rebounding is nuts. Points is honestly where he's been slacking. He doesn't, I mean, at times it looks like he doesn't even care to score that much. Look at this. He only had 25 points because he took 10 shots and made 9 of them. He didn't want to score. He didn't want to. He only took 10 shots. Here, he took only 8 shots and scored 5 of them. And in the season opener, he took 23 shots, right? So things have definitely changed. Why did he take 23 shots? Because he missed 11 threes. That's why we're not messing around with the points. Because on any given night, Jokic could honestly just look and be like, I don't want to score right now. And he could make a great pass that looks like that was the better choice. Even if it was a freaking layup. Like, Jokic is just that good right now. I love him on assists. I absolutely love him on assists. Assists allowed, the Pelicans are kind of, high on that category, but in the defensive rating category, they're very low. They're bottom 5 in defensive rating, which means it's probably going to be a higher scoring game. Even though the Nuggets don't score that many points, it's probably going to be a high scoring game. Jokic to get 10 assists. Give that play to me. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some MLB action because like I said, MLB, we've been pretty locked into. So here we are. We got the MLB lines pulled up. First off, right off the bat, that's a good one. First 5, I really like, where is it scrolling down here? This. LA Dodgers first 5 money line. So, out of the first 5 innings, who's going to win this? I know it's a minus 222. I don't care. I'm going to talk about this play. This is a great parlay piece. The Blue Jays will not be winning this game after the first 5 innings. It just won't happen because the Blue Jays are once again playing on the road. This is a must-win game for the Dodgers, right? They cannot go down 3-2 and then have to go play 2 games in Toronto on the road to win the World Series. They can't do that, right? So the Dodgers are going to win this game. I fully believe that. But even more than that, I believe they will be winning after the first 5. They're more locked in this Blue Jays team to this specific game. Their starters are better, their bench is better, their whole team is better. And the Blue Jays only really win defensive grind out games, and then in 1 inning they beat you, right? In 1 inning they beat you just like that. That's not going to happen in this game. It's not going to happen in the first 5 innings. That's all I'm saying, right? So it could happen later on, 7th inning, 8th inning, when the Dodgers start to, just slow down or whatever the hell you want to call happen in game 3, right? I don't know what happened there, 18 innings. I guess you could call that slowing down, right? But if that happens, it's a very Blue Jays script. That 18 inning game, I really thought the Blue Jays, if they're going to win a game, it's going to look just like this, right? The 11-4 was really something in game 1, right? But the Blue Jays, more defensive team, right? Their offensive power is good, obviously, but not as strong as the Dodgers. So I really do like the Blue Jays right here to play defensive baseball, and that's exactly why I like the Dodgers to be leading at the end of the first 5. Now, we're not just done yet because we still got some NBA going on. As you guys can see, I'm recording this during the halftime of the Warriors game. I've got it pulled up in the background. I'm still locked in, but I'm getting this video out early for y'all. If you appreciate that, drop a like, hit a subscribe button because we are not going anywhere. I'm just searching for the line that I thought it was just here. Where is it at? Yep. Here it is. Lakers, Timberwolves, over 223.5. I feel so good about this. It might be my free play of the day because Lakers and we've been making a lot of money taking the Lakers on the over once Nikola Jokic has gone out because the way Reeves leads this offense, ridiculous, right? I'm not going to sit here and talk about it for so long because I've held you out for 15 minutes, but Reeves led offense, I love the over for the Lakers. I'll see you in the next one once we cash. What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new video on PrizePicks. Today I've got plays for you for Thursday night football as well as NBA Thursday. So we got 4 games of NBA and then of course 1 game of the NFL. We're going to talk about all that, but real quick, do me a favor, drop a like on this video. Literally, it'll take it 2 seconds, completely free. Let's try to get 20 likes in this video. We've been doing really good by hitting that. And now let's move into the winnable. So the winnable is where I give out free plays every single day. And basically, you just get a bonus free play from me every single day. So you get quite a few on this video, and then you can get one. It usually comes out in the afternoon or the evening. And I guess drop it just like my solidest, my sharpest lock, I would say. Sign up on the free plan. It's the first link in the description, winnable.com/bam. It's also up there. And yeah, I just want to get as many of you guys in the free group as possible so we can get as many of you guys cashing with us every single day, as many as possible, like I just said. Now, I also track my VIP and literally every single play that goes through there. Since the beginning of October, we're now coming towards the end of October, it's October 30th as I'm recording this, we've gone up 46 units in a single month. Absolutely huge. And you best believe I'm going to keep recording every single play. You go back any of my videos last few weeks, I've been literally tracking every single play. That's a lot of things that you don't see other YouTubers do. Honestly, this is also outdated. Don't worry about that. That was from a few days ago. Had a great day on Sunday, that was. But elite stuff on the VIP, and I'm giving away VIP for completely free. So if you want to get free VIP, it's literally easier than ever. All you have to do is text me the word VIP to this number right here. Once you guys text me the word VIP, I'm going to help you get on one of these apps, Sleeper, Chalkboard, Underdog, whatever it is, or a few other ones. But all you have to do is text me the word VIP to this number. I got my phone on me right now. I'm just going to hit you guys back up right after this, and then I'll get you guys in the VIP for completely free for an entire week. That's how simple it is. Now, let's move into the first play of the day. We're going to the NFL first, then we'll take a look at the NBA afterwards. But play number 1, we're taking Lamar Jackson. I really think Lamar Jackson is going to play in this game. That's all the information that I have right now as I'm recording this around 1 a.m. on the day of the game. So lots to go through, but I think Lamar Jackson is going to play. That's what all the reports are saying. We're just going to assume as if he is, right? So Lamar at 35.5 rushing yards. I like the over right here. As you guys can tell, Lamar had 70 rushing yards. Then he missed. The last time he missed was against the best run defense in the NFL, or I would say one of the best. The Browns are a very sneaky good run defense. Then he barely missed against the Lions, but 35 rushing yards is still very solid. And then 48 yards against Kansas City in that big loss where he ended up obviously not playing after that, right? So if we look at how the Dolphins have been against defending rushing quarterbacks, right? Daniel Jones, he hit his over. Drake May, he hit his over. Josh Allen just barely missed the under, or barely missed the over. He went under by 1 yard. Justin Fields had a blowout game against them, right? Or they got blown out, but like 81 yards that the Justin Fields put up against the Dolphins on the ground. So why is this important? We're looking at how do the Dolphins really defend against rushing quarterbacks, right? And we don't want to look at every quarterback in here because quarterbacks like Bryce Young and Justin Herbert, honestly, don't really run the ball all that much, right? So we could kind of disregard that data and just look at the quarterbacks that do like to run the ball. It's really these 3 right here. Daniel Jones does like to run the ball, but Drake May, Josh Allen, and Justin Fields, those are the players that are most similar to Lamar, right? And these are the players that have had very good success running the ball against this Dolphins defense. So that's exactly why I like this line. If you want to move it down, I always say this, guys. This is an extra betting tip for you guys. You can take it straight at the exact value that the line is. So 35.5, you just take that as a straight play. But if you want to put it as a parlay piece, bump it down. Go Lamar 20 plus rushing yards. Lamar 25 plus rushing yards would probably be where I would take it. Or Lamar 30 plus rushing yards, what have you, depending on the odds that you want. Go ahead for a little bit of shorter odds on that game, and then you'll have a great play right there. That's exactly how it goes. Lower the odds for a parlay piece. Take it straight. If you just want to take a straight play, just take it on the line that they give you. Now, let's move into play number 2. Because we're going on the other side of the ball, Devon Achane right here. And I'm just taking them very simple. Devon Achane to score a touchdown because the Dolphins are going to score a couple touchdowns in this game. 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns probably. I don't think they're going to come out scoreless. And that touchdown, more likely than not, will go to Achane. There is literally nobody else on this team that will probably be the recipient of that touchdown. Jalen Waddle is the most likely other candidate. But Waddle, honestly, the way that he's been playing, he had a touchdown last game, but he's been kind of hit or miss, right? Devon Achane's that guy. I mean, that's just straight up. Devon Achane is the guy who is most consistent with this line. And if we look at, I mean, this is not a great graph, honestly, because I don't like how they show, the backup running backs as well. And like the third string, fourth strings getting zero touchdowns. But if we just try to eliminate that from our minds and just look at which of these running backs are starting running backs for their team, and did these starting running back, when they played against the Baltimore Ravens, score a touchdown? Well, David Montgomery scored 2. Jahmyr Gibbs also scored 2. Isaiah Pacheco, he scored 1. Nick Chubb, he scored 1. Kyron Williams, he scored 1. DeAndre Swift, he scored 1. So if we really disregard all of these zeros right here, because all of these zeros are players who are not even the starters on their team, right? Corum Brooks, Marks Pierce, these are not the starters. Chubb is obviously the starter, at least he was on the 5th of October. That's exactly what you want to look at, right? You want to look at, is the number 1 running back when they go up against the Ravens, is the number 1 running back for this team actually scoring, finding the end zone? And in this case, the answer is yes. Resoundingly yes. So Devon Achane right here, great play. Also, Devon Achane obviously catches a lot of passes out the backfield, but also some in the wide and slot as well. The Ravens are pretty weak against defending against running backs pass catching out of the backfield, right? So I would not hate that play either. I'm getting a little bit of exposure to Devon Achane on the touchdown prop, and I'm also going to get a little bit of exposure to him on receiving yards. He's been very bad at this recently. Absolutely horrendous, right? Getting his line at 32.5 receiving yards. So if you feel better about it, take him at 4.5 receptions, where I would take him 4.5 receptions. But I kind of like him on receiving yards. I think this line has moved down so far because of his terrible weeks recently that it's actually at a spot where it's a pretty profitable play, right? This is what happens when a player doesn't hit for 5 or 6 weeks in a row. Their line just starts tanking and tanking and tanking and tanking and tanking. But it's the same player. It's still Devon Achane. It's still the Miami Dolphins, and they're still going to be playing from behind in this game, which means basically everything is similar to or the exact same as how it was at the beginning of the season. And if you showed someone, if you showed me, or if you showed yourself at the beginning of the season, a Devon Achane receiving yards prop at 30 yards, you would smack that over, no questions asked, because that's just the kind of player he is. He's had a rough few weeks. I still like him on the receiving yards, but me personally, I'm going to get some exposure to him on the touchdown. Now, let's move into play number 3. It's going to be Mark Andrews right here. So this is another one where I just like Andrews to have a good game. So that means you could take him on receiving yards, or you could take him on receptions, what have you. Why do I think Mark Andrews is going to do well here? Because Mark Andrews is one of the biggest hit or miss plays on this Ravens team. Gone are the days where Mark Andrews was just that guy, right? This is a couple years ago. Last year, Mark Andrews was pretty solid, right? But he was still kind of hit or miss. This season, he's been very hit or miss. He's clearly not the number 1 guy on the offense. He hasn't been for a little while now, and they don't trust him that much. But someone who does trust him a ton is Lamar Jackson. If you guys watched in this game, Lions game versus Ravens, Mark Andrews got a ton of targets, 6 targets, 6 catches. Then against the Chiefs, 8 targets, 7 catches. Then Lamar obviously doesn't play. He misses, and then he has a couple of decent games with 4 catches and 3 catches. In this one, if we look at the player, he plays mostly in the slot and in the inline, right? So we're just going to say mostly in the middle of the field is where Mark Andrews plays. And this makes sense. This is the kind of day that you want to see because this makes a ton of sense. Mark Andrews is not lining up on the wide or in the backfield basically at all. The opposing defense is the worst in the NFL at defending passes across the middle of the field. 32 out of 32. They are literally the worst in the NFL. They can defend the slot pretty well. But when the Ravens see a matchup like this, when they do the statistics, they actually come up with game plans and try to attack the opposing defense. Obviously they do, and obviously they're going to see this exact flaw in the Miami defense. It's literally a hole in the middle of their defense. That's the best way you can explain it, because they're the worst at defending the middle of the field against like target zones, right? This is exactly what it is. Can players catch the ball in the middle of the field against the Miami Dolphins? Yes, they can catch it all over them. So I expect Mark Andrews to go and just really sit in this spot a ton because it's going to be a wide open spot, right? The Dolphins are not going to defend it as well as really any other team. So Mark Andrews right here is a great matchup. Now, let's look at the other tight ends when they play against the Dolphins. And let's just focus on Tyler Warren. He cashed. Hunter Henry missed out. Dalton Kincaid, green. Mason Taylor, green. Mitchell Evans, this is exactly why the data is going to fool you, because they're going to give you players who are just not, really solid tight ends at all. They're going to give you players who are kind of off the bench a little bit. Mitchell Evans, Tommy Tremble are those exact players. The Panthers do not have a solid tight end. Oronde Gadsden popped off 7 catches. Will Dissly, he's one of those other players. Harold Fenton Jr., 4 catches. Cal Pitts literally just played them and had 7 catches and a loss. 7 catches and a loss. They lost by 24 points. But Cal Pitts had 9 targets and 9 catches. What does that mean? That means that this Miami Dolphins defense is very vulnerable to defending players across the middle of the field. And who is going to be the number 1 Raven to go across the middle of the field tonight? It's going to be Mark Andrews, right? So you can take him on receiving yards at 27. You can take him on receptions at 2.5, what have you. Now, let's move into the next play of the day, because we're going over to the NBA, and there's a lot to talk about in the NBA, guys. We love ourselves some NBA. Giannis, it feels hard to play against Giannis, right? To bet against Giannis would be the stupidest thing you could do right now, because he's had 30 points in every single game this season. He's averaging 57 PRA, and his line is at 51.5. I would take Giannis at 49.5, so basically 50 plus PRA. I feel really good about that play. Basically, this one's going to be another close game. He's played a ridiculous stretch of teams. These are all very good teams. The Wizards are playing very solid this season. The Raptors are playing insane this season. The Cavs obviously are still the Cavs from last season. And the New York Knicks, they're playing pretty solid too. And this was a close game, and he managed to hit at 52 PRA. So, why didn't Giannis hit as dominantly in this game? Was actually because he only had 8 rebounds. So Giannis' rebounds fell off a cliff in that last game. He went from 14, 20, and 14, averaging literally 16 rebounds a night. And then he just halved that and got 8 against the Knicks for whatever reason. That was just completely unpredictable. I guess you could say the Knicks are a good rebounding team, but it's oftentimes just the bounce of the ball, right? So Giannis on points. Love this play, but I like him even more on PRA. I just think this one's a no-brainer, right? Double-double, it's minus 500. Why are you even taking that? Anyways, let's get into the next play of the day. We're scrolling down, and I'm going to see if I can find this Heat versus Spurs game. We're taking the guy who I think, honestly, I'm not going to say he plays like Giannis, but I can't wait for this man to match up against Giannis. I looked it up. We have to wait all the way until January to watch the Bucks play the Spurs. But I don't care. I'm going to be locked in when that game comes, because Victor Wembanyama against Giannis is going to be insane, right? But let's talk about Wemby right now. He doesn't have to play Giannis. He actually gets to play against Bam Adebayo, right? Solid player, but he's no Giannis, right? This is another game where Wemby's just going to do what he's been doing, right? This is a very solid play once again. So his line is at 28.5 points. And his line for rebounds is up at 13.5. I would lower that rebounds line down to 12.5, like you can do on some of these apps, I think. Maybe not. On PrizePicks, they're giving you at 13, but you can always lower the prop on the app if you just go ahead and click it on the app that you have. I like Wemby at 12.5 rebounds a ton. This one against the Miami Heat, there's just so little data right now that it's hard to really see. Is this a good rebounding team? Is this a bad rebounding team? Or whatever. But if you look at the only data we have right here right now is that the Knicks played up against the Heat recently, and Karl-Anthony Towns actually popped off, right? He had 18 rebounds in this game. So very, very solid. 27 rebound chances, right? So if you look at the rebound chances, he's had 22, 16, 24, and then 21 rebound chances. So I would project we need around 17 to 20 rebound chances in this game for Wemby to easily clear this line of 13 rebounds. This is a very solid play. And if we go over to rebounds, and let's just see which players might be taking away rebounds from Wemby, right? So obviously nobody on his team is anywhere close. The next highest rebound prop is Keldon Johnson at 5.5. Wemby's up at 13.5. So he's obviously going to get the rebounds for the Spurs. And the other guys that are challenging him on rebounds, Bam Adebayo is projected around 9. Cale Ware is projected around 8 rebounds, right? So that's what we're looking at. Even if those guys are able to get their projected rebounds, there's still plenty enough to go around for Wembanyama to pick up his 12 or 13 or 14, wherever you want to take the line. So Wemby on rebounds is another great play, but let's move into play number 3 in the NBA. We're going back to iHeart, guys. iHeart is a player that I absolutely love taking. And it's going to be on rebounds again. I feel like I've been talking so much about rebounds recently. But this is another one where he was able to hit against Sabonis, right? He was able to hit against Sabonis with 21 rebound chances, 24 rebound chances there. Only time he's missed was against the Hawks and against the Rockets in overtime. Why did he miss against the Rockets in double overtime, you might ask? It's because he didn't really play all that much, right? He didn't really play all that much, or at least very many important minutes. And now against the Wizards, I think this one might not even be a close game. The Thunder have been really shaky recently, but I think they come out here, beat the Wizards. iHeart gets quite a few minutes, and he hits this rebounds prop. That's all I got for the video. I'll see you in the next one once we cash. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video on PrizePicks. Today I got plays for college football Saturday. You got a ton of plays to get through, but first up, doing a solid, drop a like on this video. Literally takes 2 seconds, completely free, so go ahead and do that. And now let's move into talking about the winnable. So there's a lot of college football games. We're going to talk about that soon. But first up, I want to get you guys the opportunity to get an extra bonus free play after watching this video, and for every single day after that. I drop free plays in my group every single day. It's winnable.com/bam. The link is up there at the top. And if it's not up there, it's definitely down in the description. And it's completely free to join. You guys just sign up right here, and we can scroll down and check out what was my last free play. I actually dropped a flash discount on Jaylen Brown, and both of these players had over 30 points. We greened out this play with ease. So everybody in the free group ate yesterday. This was on Friday, Halloween night, and we're going to try to do it again on Saturday. So we got World Series Game 7. We've got tons of college football games, of course, as it is always every Saturday. And then we also have 6 games of the NBA, which I do quite like the look of quite a few of them. So we're going to get into all that. And we also are going to have a bonus play on the winnable. Make sure you guys are signed up over there. Now, let's move into talking about the first play of the day. And we'll talk about some other fun stuff later with the VIP and everything else. But we're just going to hop right over to this Nebraska versus USC game. I think this one should be one of the most fun games of the day, honestly. This is one that I'm going to be 100% tuned into because there's a lot to like here, right? You've got heavy rushing props here for both Emmett Johnson and Miller, of course. Both are at 92.5 and then 97.5. So ridiculously high rushing yard totals. And then, of course, Makai Lemon right here is at 93.5 on the receiving yards. So that's really the headlines of the game. That's what you got to look out for, is the running backs, both running backs, and then Makai Lemon through the air. They also have quite a few other solid receiving threats, namely Jacoby Lane, who popped off 111 yards against Notre Dame. But what I'm going to go ahead and target here is just the straight passing yards on Jaden Mayava. This line is a little bit too low. His line was sitting up at 300 in some games this season, and he popped the over, right? That was the game against Illinois. I think his line was close to 290, and he went for 364. So now, for some reason, his line has slowly dropped down to 268. I think this one's way too easy for him. With the offense that USC plays, it's just absolutely gunslinging every single play. They're going to go for a pass, right? And I know the rushing yards prop is really high. It's because he's a solid player, but he's not going to be getting the bulk of that offense. I honestly wouldn't hate taking Miller on the under here and then Mayava on the over, because I think they're just going to target the pass a lot more than the run. But the play that I'm going for is Mayava on the over. In addition to that, Nebraska are actually favored in this game. The spread is around 6. So at the time of recording this video, at least, which means the USC might play from behind a little bit. And usually that matters a ton, because when you play from behind, you are going to be favoring to pass the ball a lot more, right? Because you want the clock to move slower. You really don't want to waste that much time, right? So you pass the ball, you try to get chunk plays. And USC is one of the best teams in the nation at getting chunk plays and through the air. I think Jaden Mayava on the over 268 is too easy, right? The only times when he did not actually hit this was when he was playing Michigan State and he was playing against Michigan. Both of those are actually sneaky good defenses. Well, Michigan State's, I guess, a sneaky good defense. Michigan's just a solid, great defense, right? But then against other teams like Notre Dame and Illinois, who people would consider pretty solid defenses too, he was able to pop them and break them open. And a lot of that has to do with Makai Lemon right here. So I don't hate if you want to take Makai Lemon. Me personally, I don't love trying to predict who is going to get the workload on a team like this, right? Some teams you can figure it out, sometimes you can't really. I like Jaden Mayava on the over. 270 plus yards feels way too easy. But that's just pick number 1. We're going over to the next game now. The one that I'm going to go ahead and target is honestly kind of, I feel like, a sad game, because this game was supposed to be one of the games of the season, right? But Penn State just haven't kept up, right? And now Drew Allar's injured. This game is not going to be fun, right? But that doesn't mean we can't make money on it. That's all I'm trying to say. That doesn't mean we can't make money on this game. It's going to be Carnell Tate right here. 68.5 receiving yards. It seems to me like Carnell Tate pops off on a ton of these games, and it just has that feeling about it, right? Jeremiah Smith is where everybody's going to be going, right? Everybody who is tuned into this game is going to be taking Jeremiah Smith, and I honestly feel like it might be a little bit of a trap. A lot of times when Jeremiah Smith's got the limelight on him, they put so many defenders on this man that they really just leave other guys open. And that sounds crazy to say, and it honestly is crazy to say. You wouldn't see that in something like the NFL. But in college football, you see basically all kind of wacko things every single day. And I think that might actually be the case here with Penn State. They know how solid Jeremiah Smith is. They know the only way we can win this game is by stopping Jeremiah Smith. That's what everybody's trying to say, right? But once again, what happened last year, right? Jeremiah Smith's number 2 option, you guys know his name now, Emeka Egbuka, killing it for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? That was his second option. Carnell Tate is that guy. Carnell Tate's going to be great in the NFL. I'm not going to go out here and say he might be Egbuka level, right? But he's going to be great in the NFL, and people don't realize that because he's been sitting behind a guy like Jeremiah Smith. So everybody wants to come on here, talk about Julian Sayin, talk about Jeremiah Smith. Nah, we're going for Carnell Tate. And when it comes to Penn State, I would not touch any of these guys unless you really want to fade their unders, but it seems like these lines are already so low, there might not be enough room to take the under, right? But I'm not trying to take any of these guys on the over because if you guys look at Ohio State, they've just been killing it, right? There's literally they might put up another shutout, right? They put up another shutout. If you guys, they held Texas to 1 touchdown, then 0 points, then 9 points, then 6 points, 3 points. Illinois somehow, some way, managed to get double-digit points with 16. They still lost the game by 18 points. Then Wisconsin went out there, dropped a goose egg. Penn State might not even get to double digits, right? Only one team has done it on Ohio State this entire season. They just look ridiculous right now, right? So if you're not putting up double-digit points, probably not going to take your over no matter how low the line is, right? But that's enough about that. Let's move into play number 3. We're going over to Baylor. We're going over to Baylor, and I'm trying to see if they've got the lines up that I want right now. You bet they do. You bet they do. So, Josh Cameron's main guy right here. Okay, why do they keep... Also, Ashton Hawkins is a huge guy. Michael Trigg is someone who had a great start to the season, then is starting to fall off a little bit right now, right? So, you really don't know where the yards are going to go on this Baylor team. But one thing that you do know, one thing that I love going for is Bryson Washington to give me a touchdown. That's what I'm going to do. Bryson Washington to give me a touchdown. Right now, they've got his line at 1.5 rushing and receiving. I'm trying to find just the one touchdown. Doesn't seem like they have it on PrizePicks, but I'm sure they have it on whatever book you're using. As you guys know, I really just use PrizePicks to click around because I really like the look of it. I think a lot of you guys do too. I don't really place that much on PrizePicks, but Bryson Washington to get a touchdown, I feel like this one's great because this game's going to be a high-scoring game, right? Both of these teams really have the chance to play at a high pace, Baylor especially. And when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of things, Bryson Washington is the guy that they go to, right? There's not really a second running back that they feel super confident giving it to. As you guys can see, this is their second running back. He hasn't scored a touchdown in the last 5 games, right? So it's either going to be through the air, it's going to be Bryson Washington. And with a game like this where Baylor's probably going to score 30-plus points, honestly, I feel really good about Bryson Washington getting to the end zone at least one time. Now, let's move into play number 3 because we're clicking off that game. We're going to SMU versus Miami. So, Miami just got embarrassed on Friday, right? Miami, as you guys know, I'm sure a lot of you guys were tuned into that game. They looked great up till this game against Louisville. Then they came back and they were like, nah, we're still Miami, right? We're still a very solid team. And they showed up against Stanford, right? 42-7. Carson Beck, the decent. Mark Fletcher was the story of the game. 3 touchdowns, 100 yards. Everybody heard about that one. But we're coming back to this game. Now they're playing up against SMU. And what do I think is going to happen? I think it's going to be a good old-fashioned shootout right here. So Miami's going over to Texas to play this game. And the guys that I love are, once again, on the receiving yards area. People have started to realize Malachi Toney is him. This guy is absolutely insane when it comes to yards after the catch. He's probably my favorite player to watch in all of college football. I don't care that Jeremiah Smith's out there. I don't care whoever else you want to call is the greatest player in college football. Maybe they are, but my favorite to watch, it's Malachi Tony. Because of the way that he moves, because of the way that he manipulates defenses. Just go ahead, pull up some highlights. YouTube him, whatever you want to do. Check out Malachi Tony. But no, there's a lot to get into for this game. I'm going to click off some of these other games so that I can really just narrow down this one right here. Yeah. So if we go ahead and check out the receptions prop as well, you got Tony at 5.5. They love targeting this man, but it is a goblin play. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. If you see the longest reception, they don't have Malachi Tony up there. That's where I would like him a lot. I love him at longest reception. But for right now, if we got to take Tony somewhere, we're just going to go ahead and take him. Let me see. Scrolling over here. We're just going to go ahead and take him on the fantasy score because I think he's going to get targets a lot. I think he might get a touchdown here. I think he's going to get quite a few yards. So this is really just an all-around prop for Tony. But once they do drop his longest reception, or like I said, whatever book you have it on, I'm sure they have longest reception up there, just go ahead and take it, right? Because this man, he's too good. And SMU's defense, they're not all that good, right? They're not all that good. So now we're going to keep clicking around because we're not done just yet. NC State versus Georgia Tech. NC State is hosting this game. And Georgia Tech, they look really strong, right? They look really strong, one of the best teams in the country. And Haynes King is the main reason for that, right? Haynes King on the rushing yards has been absolutely dominant. And NC State's defense really is not all that strong, right? NC State's defense, they ain't all that. And their offense is pretty banged up as well, right? So as someone who's an NC State fan, right, as you guys can see, NC State fan right here, I got the shirt on and everything. I don't think NC State's going to cover the spread of 5.5. That's probably going to be one of my smash hit plays for the day is Georgia Tech minus 5.5. I know, betting against one of my favorite teams, I don't care. Georgia Tech are undefeated. They look like a ridiculously strong team right now. And I know our NC State defense better than anybody. It's not all that good this year, right? So we love Georgia Tech a ton in this game. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is take Haynes King. So rushing touchdowns, give me Haynes King. Haynes King has gotten a rushing touchdown in every single game in the last 5. Not to mention 2 against Syracuse in the last game, right? So Haynes King get a rushing touchdown feels like an absolute lock, right? Rushing plus receiving touchdowns, I mean, I don't know. It's basically the same thing, right? So the point is, Haynes King anytime touchdown. I love that play. If you want to take him on rushing yards, you could, but his line is so high, 75.5 is absolutely ridiculous. At that point, I'm wondering if they get deep into this game and they're already up by 20 or 21 points, maybe he's not going to run the ball because that's a good chance of getting injured, right? So with a line that high, he could still have a great game, run for 60 yards, 70 yards, and go under. I'm kind of staying away from that. I love him on the rushing touchdown stuff. But we still got a ton of plays to get into. We're clicking off that game. I'm going into one of the later night games. Well, actually, there's the same time slot, but Tennessee versus Oklahoma in this game, right? So going over the passing yards category, you can see the books know this one's going to be a shootout. Everyone knows this one's going to be a shootout. Joey Aguilar up at 272 because he just popped off for nearly 400 yards against Kentucky just last weekend. Hopefully you guys tuned into that one. John Mateer has been on the down and down, but he's still been very consistent, sitting at around 200, 250 yards every single game. But what I like even more is, I mean, can we say this man's name anymore? How good was Isaiah Satania last game? 131 yards. Now his line's at 75 against, I don't want to say they're a bad defense, but Tennessee seemed to win a lot more games because of their offense than because of their defense. That's all I'm going to say. Tennessee's defense, especially their passing defense, can get cut up pretty easily. So, Satania looks like a super solid play right here. If you could catch him on the receptions line, I would love that too. Once again, PrizePicks only has it at a demon line for whatever reason. I've got no idea what PrizePicks is on nowadays, but I like Satania. We're just going to pop him in on receiving yards, and you guys can put him in whatever category you want. I love this man to have an absolutely huge game. Fill up the stat sheet. Give me Isaiah Satania in this one. Now, I don't even know if that's how you say it, but it just sounds hot when you say it that way. We're moving into play number 5, is it? I've lost count. We've been dropping some absolute heat, and we're going over to the big noon game. Texas, Vanderbilt. So, Vanderbilt, I'm pretty sure Vanderbilt are the favorites in this one. Texas are the home team. Vanderbilt are the better team, right? Let's say it that way. If Vanderbilt, I've got to go check that. If Vanderbilt are not the favorites, we're definitely taking them on the money line. But whatever. Diego Pavia, 172 passing yards. We know this man doesn't pass the ball that much because he doesn't need to. He runs the ball. 50 yards is his prop. Last week, I told y'all, fade this man. Take him on the under. Sent that out to the VIP. We greened. Why was that? Because Missouri defense against quarterbacks was super solid. We knew, they knew, Diego Pavia is going to try to run over all of us. They're not going to let him. That's exactly what happened. They didn't let him. They still had a great game. They didn't still had a great game, but Diego Pavia on the under was a great play. It's not going to happen twice, guys. Texas are not that great of a defense. Everybody loves Texas this season, and because, I guess, just because of the name and because we want Arch Manning to succeed, they're not that great, right? As you guys can see, like in their big games, they've struggled, right? And in their games where they really should clean up, clean house, Kentucky, Mississippi State, they've struggled. They won both of those games in overtime, right? This was probably the only big game, I guess you could say that they played well in. And still, it was John Mateer, and the reason they won that was because he threw 3 picks, right? That's not going to happen multiple times. Texas is one of those teams. It's hard to predict, right? It's hard to predict, but I don't think they're going to have a great game here against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt are the 9th ranked team in the country, right? And as you guys can see, they still had a great game here against Missouri, even though Diego Pavia only rushed 8 times for 20 yards, right? I think he's going to reinstate him being an absolute force in this offense, in this game, and I think he's going to do well. 50.5 rushing yards. That's too low. But we got one more play in college football before we head off to the other sports because, guys, we're not done just yet. We are not done just yet. Passing yards, Darian Mensah. I mean, this line is super high, 272, but I like it, right? What am I going to say? I like this even more. Cooper Barkate could have 100 yards in this game, and nobody would bat an eye. He could have 100 yards, and Darian Mensah could end with 270. So that's exactly what I'm trying to paint the picture for you guys, right? Duke has a great game passing the ball against a Clemson team that is just super sorry now. Duke has a great game passing the ball. Darian Mensah gets 270 yards, right? Fabulous game. But he misses his line. So we're not taking Darian Mensah. We're taking his number one guy, Cooper Barkate, on the over at 70 yards. Okay, it's maxing me out at 6 picks. I don't care, guys. I'm trying to give you guys as much sauce as I can. Cooper Barkate, 69.5 receiving yards. Love this play, right? Absolutely love this play. Clemson defense is terrible. Clemson as a whole team is terrible. I can't believe people were predicting this team to win the national championship. Just look at them now, right? I think they have a losing record, 3-4, something like that. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But that's enough about that for college football. Like I said, we're not done just yet. We got a few more plays. We're going over to the NBA because we're going to this Magic versus Wizards game. I had a play that I already picked out. Where is my man Alex Sarr? Alex Sarr on the rebounds. This one feels like, we could take this one every single time and nobody would bat an eye. Alex Sarr on the rebounds. 7.5 is his line right now. Take him at 6.5, 5.5 if you want a parlay piece. Take him at 7.5 if you want just a straight bucket, right? But another player that I feel like has been having a huge impact that has not been getting the love he deserves is Wendell Carter, right? Putback guy, it just says it right there, right? Wendell Carter is the glue of this team, right? People want to talk about Desmond Bane, he's great. People want to talk about Franz, about Paolo, how he should be an MVP, or not MVP. He could be an MVP, how he should be an All-Star, right? Wendell Carter Jr., if you watch the games, he's a lot of times the glue that puts this team together. So I like him on the rebounds to have a huge impact in this game. Washington Wizards have allowed the 4th most rebounds to the opposing team, which means they're not a great rebounding team. But I know Alex Sarr is, so I take him on rebounds. I fade the rest of the team, and I take Wendell Carter on the opposite side. So those are a couple of my favorite plays in the NBA. But I'm hopping over to that last game right here. Seems like we've got, where's he at? Where is my man at? Cade Cunningham. 25.5 is his line on Sleeper and Underdog PrizePicks. Seems like there's not a lot left up there, but I'm probably just going to wait and see for this one. I thought the line would be a little bit lower. I think the line might actually move down as the day goes because right now only 3 books have the lineup. If you can get them at 25 plus or so, I do like that on the points. But now let's go ahead and talk about the MLB because we're not done just yet. I feel like I've talked about that. I feel like I've said that so much. There's just so much to talk about on Saturday, guys. There's absolutely a ridiculous amount. So I'm pulling up Novig right here. This is one of my favorite books for just getting the best lines. Now, you got the spread at 1.5. You got the total at 8.5. Very high total. And then you got the Dodgers money line at -140 and the Blue Jays at +130. Where are we going for this game? We're going over to a lot of people are not going to like this. We're going to the under. 8.5 on the under. Don't really like this as of right now. I might flip-flop around, but I think the value we're getting right now, right after the game 6 wrapped up, the value we're getting on the under 8.5 is huge. Everybody is placing in their plays. They want this to be a Game 7 huge game, World Series, tons of runs, right? The value we're getting at 8.5 is just a huge value play. I think that throughout the day, throughout the Saturday, the lines and the odds are going to start shifting down to the point where it's actually a more profitable play to take the over, and we will be probably hedging that if that line movement does happen. But what I'm saying is, as of right now, if you can get the line at this great, -128 for 8.5 is absolutely insane. So that's what I'm taking. That's where my mind is at. That's my favorite play on the board for the MLB, NBA, and college football. Tons going on. Like I said at the beginning of the video, sign up on the Winnable free group. And if you want a free week of VIP, those of y'all at the very end, I'm hooking you guys up free of charge an entire week on the VIP. I appreciate you watching to the end. Text me at this number. Text me the word VIP. And yeah, that's all I got for the video. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Let's make some money on Saturday.